Hello, it's Katie and Bryan in the studio.
Hey peeps.
And it's Rick in Rochdale, and welcome to the final episode of the Touchstones Tapes, the podcast which keeps you connected with us as a museum and takes you behind the scenes of Touchstones Rochdale's redevelopment project.
What a journey it's been, and to celebrate the fact that it's our last episode for now, we're recording in a real studio today, no collection store for us.
Yes, hello everyone. It is nice to be in here. It's nice and clean and air conditioned and very different vibe to being in a collection store. Everything's very organised and very minimal compared to the eclectic collections we have in Rochdale.
Yeah, it's so much more modern and I'm loving the blue walls. It's very, very much of a vibe in here.
I feel a bit lost though without the collections. We've spent so much time there for these episodes that it's scary to be away from them.
You've got a little bit too comfortable in that collection store, haven't you, Bryan?
I have. I feel like it is actually my second home now. And it feels odd to be away from it, but you know, it's far more modern here, so it's nice for a change. Anyway,
what have we got coming up on the show today?
Well, today, Katie, we're going to be talking about an exciting youth creative programme that Touchstones has been working on in partnership with Rambert, and it's called Future Movement. So we'll be speaking to the young people involved in this project and hearing their experiences and what they've been up to. And also about how Touchstones is developing more inclusive and exciting programmes with young people whilst our building is closed and when we reopen in 2025.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too. For the final time, take it away, Bryan.
So on today's episode, we're talking all about Future Movement. And this is a daring and exciting youth creative programme which is run in partnership with Touchstones and Rambert, which are a dance company based in London. And this project has also been running in London and Mansfield with groups of young people who've been connected to arts and culture. And the group in Rochdale, who are joining us today, have been gathering weekly at Touchstones at the Art Gallery and Museum, and they've been exploring what creativity and culture means to them and their friends. And they've met industry professionals at the top of their game, developed new skills, which have included producing, design, marketing, and they've been co-producing events and lots of exciting things. So on our roundtable today, we have some of the Future Movement Rochdale group, who are Iqra, Janet and Jen. Hi everyone.
Hi.
So today we're going to talk about this amazing project and programme that you've all been part of for quite a few months now, and you didn't know each other before, did you? And you've been involved in creating a film, you've been involved in producing an event, and you've been working together to sort of explore themes that mean something to you, really, haven't you, through arts and creativity. So that project's called Future Movement, but I just wondered if you wanted to tell us a bit more about your involvement in that and what it's meant to you, really.
It's been an opportunity to meet new people. Like you said, we didn't know each other before, but now we do. We've been doing this for absolute ages, it feels like, and now like we know each other. We're like friends, follow each other on like social media and stuff, and like having an opportunity to do like new things, especially with people now that you're comfortable with, is just so cool. Like, I can't believe it, but like I'm sitting here doing a podcast and like I've just done a load of new things that I probably would never have had the opportunity to.
I feel the same way. I think coming to Touchstones every week was just a chance to do something different. Like one time we were drawing Disney princesses and making up a whole backstory for them. Sometimes we were just like doing poetry. It's always something different. It's like the little things. Like even if you spend like 10 minutes on something, it's really fun. So that's what it's like for me.
Yeah, well, the film we created explored sort of femininity and what it is to be a woman. And as a group of exclusively women, it was just really like freeing, and it was an opportunity we'd not necessarily had before to explore that.
Yeah, and it was an amazing piece of work that you created. I can remember watching it and feeling so like emotional and empowered. It was a really amazing piece of work. But do you want to talk a bit more about that process of making the film and like how you sort of got to the themes that you explored in it?
Well, it's called Strength in Numbers, and we found out about it like near the start of when we started Future Movement. And like Jen said, we're like exclusively a group of women or people that identify with being feminine. So we knew that that's something we all had in common. And like we explored how we felt, like safety, walking around. We had loads of rants about what it's like to be a woman in school. And like we just explored what that meant to us. And like, what's it called? We met dancers at Rambert who also struggled with the identity of being a woman and how that affected them dancing. And if you guys want to like add more, yeah.
I'd say the initial process was, like Janet was saying, we were just speaking about what it's like, because obviously we sat down and we were just thinking what we all have in common is that we're all women, and we just really went off on that, and we had post-it notes and we were just writing words about what it's like to be a woman, and it was just, we just went from there. And then we spoke to two dancers at Rambert who are both women, and they were just talking about what it means to them, and how they express their womanhood through dancing.
When we started, it wasn't necessarily about women, but we are a very diverse group, like race, religion, sexuality, everything. And we all found that our one sort of defining factor as a collective was that we're all women, and we've all had these experiences that most women share. And it was just, we were excited to explore that.
Amazing. It's an amazing project. And right now you're working on something a bit different, aren't you? So do you want to talk a bit more about that? And is any themes from the film that you made of that, have they come through in terms of some of the conversations you're having now?
Well, we're working with the Barmy Army.
For those who don't know, the Barmy Army is an organisation that is promoting mental health and what good mental health is and how we should be taking care of ourselves.
The focus is mental health, and obviously different aspects of our identity make up our mental health. Like last week, a really like profound thing was when I was complaining about not being able to like go to the doctors to book an appointment to like maybe get a test for ADHD. And then I was like, well, to be honest, it's not that big of a deal. And then the person that was leading it was like, yes, it is a big deal. Like, that means you're not accessing stuff that you should be able to. That means you're doubting yourself. And like, I was like, that is something I've never thought of before. And they were like, and I was like, oh, well, what if I'm like falsely diagnosing myself and I'm being dramatic? And it was like, doesn't matter. If you feel a certain way, that's how you should feel. And that's a key thing women feel. Sometimes we do this thing where we like shut our emotions down because we are told we're too emotional, we're doing too much. And what we talked about in Strength in Numbers heavily like relates to mental health and what people who are considering getting diagnosed or are diagnosed feel, because they feel like they're being too loud even though their voices aren't really being heard, which is the whole point of the Barmy Army. So yeah,
it's also to explore like mental health rights and access to mental health facilities. And something I keep coming back to in my mind when we were talking with or interviewing one of the dancers was that she talked about her relationship with her body and how she was told that she should slim down because she might not be the figure of what is traditional of a ballet dancer. And it's just little things like that, little comments that can really like impact people, and a lot of people don't have that sort of access to be able to get help with that, and it can be really detrimental.
We were really just exploring what mental health means to us, what mental health rights are, and we were making slogans and like our own, I forgot their name. Posters, yeah. And it was just allowing us to explore what mental health means to us and how we should be able to get better access.
I'm really glad that you've all been able to meet each other and learn about each other's backgrounds and identities. But what do you think you've learned the most from being involved in Future Movement?
Well, I do the A-levels of art and maths and sociology. So I don't really get tapped into the like drama, theatre, music kind of side of things. And because Future Movement's so heavily focused on all of the arts, I get to like dip into things I probably never would have been able to. Like my first time going to like a theatre show was when we watched Peaky Blinders, and that was one of the best things I've done. And I feel like it just makes me really excited to like know that I'm going to try something new. Like it's almost a break from school, because like even with like extracurriculars, you end up just doing the same thing again and again. But with Future Movement, we're doing something new every week, and I feel like that's the best thing. I've definitely learned how I like meet new people, how I interact, and how I can like make myself feel confident in new situations. Because again, when I'm doing new things, it can be a bit scary. Like when we went to Rambert, meeting the dancers, you kind of feel like you need to at least know how to do the two-step. But like, yeah, just meeting and like doing new people and new things just means that I know how I operate when I meet new people and do new things. Yeah, just makes me learn more about myself.
Yeah, I'd say just going back off what Janet said, every week we're doing something different. Like the Disney princess stuff just came out of nowhere and everyone rolled with it. And I think doing little things like that is so good, because that's how we all learn about each other. And I feel like we all know each other so well now because we see each other every single week for months. So I feel like we all have a good understanding of each other. Like Janet hates Jaffa cakes. I don't understand why, but she hates them for some reason. She just hates them. But yeah, like we all know each other so well, and it's just really fun. You know, we do look forward to it. I think we all do, because we're always doing something different. Like we were doing self-portraits and we were painting and drawing. Like it's always something different.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of the opposite to Janet. I'm a very like creatively inclined person. I act and I sing and I draw, and so Future Movement, and especially being facilitated at Touchstones, has allowed me to explore being artistic in a way that isn't so academic, and allowed me to sort of explore how I can be creatively, that's the word, without sort of restrictions, and like just really put myself out there.
Yeah. I think it's really important, isn't it, that you have those, you know, programs like this exist, that you all kind of said that it's out of that kind of usual student experience, like, but it's still, you're still learning, you know, and I think that's really important, isn't it? I was just going to ask, like, in terms of like programs like this, how important do you think it is that, you know, these things exist and people can get involved in them for other young people like yourselves?
I think they're really, really important, even if it's not just centered around like the arts. Like it gets people out the house, it gets people like meeting people and like doing things, and it's like you get to go home knowing you've done something productive, done something new. And I feel like some people don't have that opportunity. Like Jen said, it's a step out of the academics, and if like you're not really into that, school is just not the place for you. And having an opportunity to do something but also learn, I think is just something that all people any age should be able to do.
Yeah, I agree with that, because me at the start of Future Movement, I couldn't draw. I mean, I still can't, but like I wasn't really into arts and stuff like that. But like every week we're always talking about a different form of art, whether it's poetry or whatever. It's always something different, and I feel like that just made me so much more open to different things. And like Janet's, like when I don't know what we were doing, we were making a house for a Disney princess. I keep going back to it, but we were making a house for a Disney princess, and Janet had her lollipop sticks out, she had everything, and it was so fun, because we always look at different forms of art, and I feel like that made me more open to it as well, because now it's like something that I never considered that, you know what I mean? But now it's something that I'm more inclined to do in my free time.
Yeah, getting into arts as a hobby, like going to amateur dramatics or art classes, is so expensive. The arts as a like community is so expensive, and this is all free. It's cost us nothing, and it's just allowed people who may not be able to afford to indulge in those hobbies have a space to do that, where it's not like costing you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it, that those things are accessible? I think it should all be free, but I don't have power over that. But yeah, it's amazing to hear, like, I guess the impact that's had on and your perspectives and you know, that exposure to those experiences has been really amazing for each of you. Do you want to talk a bit more about what impact that's had on you, like individually and as a group as well, like your involvement?
Well, I've had access to so many opportunities, like the screening of the project we did. That was an opportunity to like develop my public speaking skills. The project we're doing now with the Barmy Army, because I want to be an architect, meeting the person that's facilitating us, who designs mental health wards, I was just so shocked because I'm so motivated by what I want to do, because I just believe that houses aren't built with the people who live in them in mind. And then I meet someone who builds stuff with people's mental health in mind. Like, I just feel like you would not find these opportunities anywhere else. Or like, it's very competitive to the point where you like talk yourself out of putting yourself out there. So I think even just, I've enjoyed myself on like a social level, but opportunity wise, I've put myself out there. I've been able to like network in a way that doesn't feel like high stress and high risk. And like, I don't know, like feel like I'm scared to get rejected. Like the opportunities in a weird way are coming to me and I get to put myself forward for them. So yeah, other than like increasing my confidence, I am finding new things to get myself into.
Yeah, so going off from what Janet said, we've had the opportunity to meet so many people. Like we met Ben Hunt, which was amazing, and we had a whole session with him. And I'd say for me personally, Future Movement just really allowed me to meet so many more people. Like we met Liz Mitten, I think it was, and she was talking about, you know, her company and how she helps women, and I thought that was really inspiring. And we just always get the opportunity to meet new people. Obviously we've met each other and, you know, we've all become such good friends, but we also meet so many new people. Like we met the dancers at Rambert as well, and I think for me that was the best part, just like speaking to people. It's like there's no pressure in it, you can just be yourself and just have conversations with these people, and that's been my favourite thing. It's
made me personally like way more confident. Like before starting this project, I wouldn't have dreamed of doing something like this. Yeah. And it's given me so many opportunities again like this, and going to Rambert and meeting the dancers and everything. It's given me so many opportunities I wouldn't have had if I hadn't have become involved in something like this.
Oh, that's amazing. Like, I've got goosebumps listening to all of you. It's so amazing to hear, though, that, you know, a lot of the work we do at Touchstones is trying to advocate for programmes like this and working with amazing partners like Rambert that deliver such an amazing array of like opportunities that you've all had access to. And, you know, being able to have that access to the arts I can remember when I was younger, I never went to theatres or museums or galleries. It wasn't until I was in my like 20s and I was like, wow, this amazing world that no one exposed me to for. So I really know why it's important to be involved at this point in sort of like in your development. I think everyone should have access to it. It should be free for all. But I need to stop saying that, otherwise I might get told off. So as our new building is reopening very, very soon, we want Touchstones to continue to be a space for all our communities, including young people. But wanted to ask you all, what would you like to see in our newly imagined space?
Well, it's already a creative space, obviously being an art gallery and museum, but it'd be amazing to see more like theatre inclined. As a theatre person, it'd be amazing to see more like theatre inclined and like performance inclined things in there. I'd say just more stuff like this, because this was like the first opportunity like this that I've ever seen. So I think if there was more people who had more access to programs like these, I think that would be great. And yeah, just a chance for more people to just come together and just have fun.
I obviously think that we should continue what was at Touchstones, so like the museum, the like activities for like younger people to get introduced to art. Definitely a podcast room. But yeah, I think the direction that Touchstones is going is very like, I want to say youth inclined. Like it wants to be relevant. It wants to not be the stuffy old museum that nobody went to, that nobody goes to and won't pass. Like I do think that Touchstones should like advertise itself more to my school, like, but well, yeah. So I think Touchstones is doing great, and I know that whatever they do, they'll have the youth of.
Thank you all so much for coming today. I think we've covered quite a lot there. Thank you for sharing your experiences as well. That's amazing, as always. But will you all be listening to this? Will this be your favourite podcast?
100%.
Definitely, yeah.
Top listeners.
Yeah.
So thank you all for coming in the studio today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
Yeah.
That was an amazing conversation between some really confident, empowered young people, and I'm feeling like their amazing experience of being together as like-minded people, and also just having that really strong friendship that's happened and blossomed throughout the project. I've got goosebumps. I feel really good, and I feel like we need to do more work like this in the future.
I would have absolutely loved something like that when I was their age, and to hear them totally take the opportunity, take the ball by the horns and just run with it, it's inspiring, and it makes me feel like the future is in very good hands with these women.
We've had so much fun over the past few months making these episodes, and we've really made the store a home for everyone. I think the collection store a home for everyone.
I agree, and just it's been great for me personally to get out of my little marketing bubble and find out all the brilliant work that's going on with Touchstones, talking to all the people whose lives we're actually affecting and impacting on. It's been just a really inspiring experience.
And it's not goodbye, it's see you soon, as we look forward to welcoming you back into Touchstones very, very soon.
Well, there you go. We've made 12 episodes over 12 months, and now our newly imagined space is nearly ready for Touchstones to open its doors again. And you can always listen back to some episodes again. Just type in the Touchstones Tapes wherever you listen to your podcasts, and make sure you click follow or subscribe.
And don't forget, you can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram at Touchstones_Rochdale, and on Facebook, just search for Touchstones Rochdale.
Well, thank you so much for listening, and thank you to Audio Always, who have helped us make this podcast. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.